Hello friends, don't miss today's video. I really felt bad after seeing this video and the crime that the Soviets committed at that time. I don't know how you feel after knowing this story. Let's go to this interesting video. The date shows the 30th of January 1945, when Germany was under the most intense pressure and was being destroyed by both sides. At this time, the German government is warning the people of East Prussia, that is, a piece separated from German soil and now part of Russia, that you should vacate this area as soon as possible and return to the original German soil, because the Soviet forces are arriving here, and there was no hope left for the East Prussian people except for this ship, Wilhelm Gustloff ship. Wilhelm's ship was supposed to take thousands of people and leave this area immediately to the city of Kiel in northern Germany. A group of people entered this ship, but they did not know what terrible fate awaited them. About 10,000 people board this ship. Among them, there is a 10-year-old boy named Horst White. In this boy's pocket, there was a Swiss knife, which was also called the Swiss Army knife. Don't think that the people who board this ship are going and sitting in peace. All of them were terrified and tried to save their lives as fast as possible. They were in the middle of the war for 6 years, and they were losing their loved ones every moment. For example, the father of Horst White was killed a few weeks ago. After loading and boarding the people, the ship Wilhelm Gustloff is heading towards the mainland of Germany, which has not traveled for more than a few hours when a Soviet submarine comes near it, and at the same time a part of the Wilhelm ship explodes. The 10-year-old boy will be described later. We heard a big explosion and the water entered our ship. I told my mom to go up. The lifeboats are there. But the big problem was that there were only 22 lifeboats on this ship, and the shooting of the Soviet submarine had thrown a number of them into the sea. So there were fewer boats, and only 70 people could fit in each one. It means they could not save even 1,000 people. Besides, it was winter, and the water there was ice cold. Just like the story of the Titanic, one does not survive in the water. With this suggestion he gave to his mother, Horst White made them to be among the first people to go to the lifeboats, and because he was a boy, he and his mother boarded them early. People crowded to board the boats, and the officers didn't know what to do. They wanted to take the women and children on board first, but the people intervened and said, "Take us too." That's why they have to hit them in the head with something to make them unconscious. Otherwise, the boat would be so heavy that it would sink the first moment it was put into the water. Some of the boats could not be lowered because the mechanism and ropes on which the boats were hanging were frozen and would not budge, and the ship would have sunk. He was pulling down and drowning himself. But 10-year-old Horst, again, had a fresh thought in his head and said, "I have a Swiss knife, and we can cut the ropes." And everyone said, "This is a great idea. Hurry up, give me the knife, let's take the ropes. Horst's knife will save more than 100 people, including himself and his mother." These few people were saved, but out of about 10,000 people on the ship, about 9,000 of them were killed due to explosion and drowning, or due to freezing. 9,000 dead in one ship was a very high number. If you want to know the greatness of this figure, you should know that only 1,500 people were killed in Titanic. For this reason, the sinking of the Wilhelm Gustloff is considered the deadliest sinking of a ship in history. S-13, or the same Soviet submarine, had fired 4 torpedoes at Wilhelm Gustloff. His goal was to sink this ship 100%, otherwise they wouldn't shoot 4 torpedoes at a helpless passenger ship. Now why is this disaster of such a magnitude so hidden, and no mention is made of it anywhere? In order to better understand this story, we must first know the history of this ship. In the year 1936, when the construction of this ship is finished, the construction company, Luhmann Wass, planned to name this ship after Adolf Hitler, who was the most powerful man in the world at that time. But Hitler said, "No, don't name this, leave the ship." Wilhelm Gustloff, who was the leader of the Swiss Nazi Party and was killed by a Jewish student. The German government wanted to highlight the killing of Wilhelm Gustloff and keep saying that it was martyred by the Jews, and this was the propaganda of the Nazi government that wanted to make people more anti-Jewish. In any case, this ship will enter the waters with this history and will be available to the German people as a pleasure ship for anyone who wants to buy a ticket and board it. At this time, this ship, like many other things in Germany, wanted to show the world how far we have come. The Wilhelm Gustloff ship was the most luxurious and the largest cruise ship in the world. The actual capacity of this ship was 1,900 people, and unlike the Titanic, which had different classes, there was no class in the Wilhelm Gustloff, and all the ships were first class, and they said that the National Socialist Party should not have a class and everyone should board first class. Of course, ordinary people could never buy a ticket for this ship, but the high-ranking people of the Nazi Party regularly boarded this ship. Non-Germans were prohibited from entering this ship, and only members of the Austrian Nazi Party could board. In the year 1939, when the flames of World War II started, this ship somehow became idle because it could no longer carry passengers during that war, so they changed its use and built it as a naval hospital, which carried most of the German wounded, and they kept them and brought them to the mainland of Germany. For 6 years, the Wilhelm Gustloff Naval Hospital traveled back and forth between Poland and the German mainland. His job was to transport the German war wounded. We come to January 1945, when Gustav Wilhelm docked in East Prussia to take the wounded, and after that, the Soviet submarine destroyed it. One of the main reasons that this ship has remained unknown, despite so many dead people, is that first of all, this ship wanted to be named Adolf Hitler, and then they did not put the name of a Nazi martyr on it. Second, 3 months after the disaster of this ship, the war will end and Germany will be defeated. There was no one to praise this ship, and those who formed the new German government were all anti-Nazi and did not want to talk about this issue. If the Soviets were telling stories about this ship, it was to show their victory. Why did the Allies attack a passenger ship against international law? They had their own reasons and said that no one understood that this ship was going to carry passengers. Because it has been a military naval ambulance for 6 years, and when the torpedo was fired at this ship, there were also soldiers present on this ship. With these words, they made their work look legal, despite the fact that 10,000 innocent people had boarded this ship. Another reason why the massacre on this ship did not attract much attention was that we are at the end of World War II. The world has killed tens of millions of people, and these 9,000 people were lost among all those killed. The Titanic had sunk when 500 people had died, but 9,000 people were nothing among the tens of millions of people at that time. If you like this video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel to see more videos. Dear friends, your support will not take even 5 seconds of your time, but it will help me a lot to be able to make better videos for you with a strong spirit. Thank you for your support. I love you.